morning, and welcome to For Fantasy's Sake, the Quad City's first and only fantasy football show. I am Doug, Rock Your World Green. I am joined by Chris, Rock, Paper, Scissors, Steel, and DJ Rocktown Jarvis. All right, boys. So, Deej, you messed with my shot sheet. What happened to the spinny thing? I'm holding you to the spinny thing.
No spinny thing today. The spinny thing's broken.
You're supposed to do the spinny thing on Wednesday.
I know.
You are the worst. All right. So, it is National Tight End Day. So, DJ says he has a trivia question. As long as he doesn't show me his butt, I'm going to allow it.
Dang it. That was the basis of National Tight End Day. Maybe the trivia question is who's got a better tight end, Jeff Driscoll or name a person. We had two Chris Steels for a second. All right. So
we're ready for that.
Winning.
The first trivia question of the day to win a free entry into our end of the season raffle is: last year was the first occurrence of National Tight End Day. Who caught the first touchdown in National Tight End Day history? What tight end? So that'll be the trivia question. Answer it in the comments, and you win a free entry. First right answer.
Randy
and
Moss.
It wasn't Travis Kelce.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, yeah. Randy Moss.
I love it when we can carry a gag for multiple weeks. All righty. So, big news of the week, or I don't know how big of news this is. Part of me says it's insignificant. Part of me says it's at least fantasy relevant. But Antonio Brown signed with Tampa Bay yesterday, I believe. Yesterday or Friday. I don't know. My days have been kind of all glued together. But somewhere in the last 72 hours, Antonio Brown signed with Tampa Bay after flirting with Seattle. So, is he somebody you're willing to roll the dice on given his past, especially last year in New England where things went powder keg quickly? Is this somebody you're willing to look at the upside, or is this somebody who you're wanting to avoid?
I think I liked what Bonnie said on Twitter earlier this week. If it's redraft, I'm buying. If it's dynasty, I'm selling because his value is at the highest point right now in dynasty. So I'm willing to take a chance on him in redraft, but dynasty, I'm probably getting him off my team as early as possible.
I don't know why you would have kept him like as a keeper right now. I mean, if you picked him up like off the waiver wire, like seeing that he was having these visits, good for you. But at the same time, I don't know that there is any real value to him because currently he can't play until week 8, right? Mm-hmm. And so he has a trial coming up in December too. So with the outcome of that trial, he could be seeing even more suspensions following that. So this is something to me that I wouldn't touch. Like if somebody was trying to trade this to me for any reason, there's no reason to want this. Also with Tampa Bay, they're going to be getting healthier as time goes on. There's too many mouths to feed as it is there right now. Cameron Brate can't even get catches right now. And Tom Brady's talking about how much he loves Cameron Brate all the time. So what's the point of adding another wide receiver? I don't really understand it. Tyler Johnson looks like a better option to me than Antonio Brown right now. And I don't really get why people are excited about this. I guess it's just because of the name or why Tampa Bay would do this. The most interesting part of this whole thing to me is finding out who exactly was behind this signing. Was this a Tom Brady thing? Was this Bruce Arians thing? Who thought this was a good idea?
Oh, this was totally a Brady thing. I saw a thing this morning that said that Brady, when he came to Tampa Bay, basically had two demands, and they were Gronk and Antonio Brown. And now he's gotten both of them. Because somebody asked Arians about AB in the not preseason, asked him about signing there, and he was like, no chance in hell. And we saw how that worked out.
Yeah. Well, I just don't see the upside in it, really. It's not like a distraction thing because I don't think that really matters, even though I think he can bring the distractions based off of the Hard Knocks episodes that he was in. But I don't really get the point of it. Maybe you get a couple good games out of him, but I guess the pandemic made it the perfect time to do it, because you can't have reporters sniffing around your facility, asking him questions every day, getting ridiculous responses out of him all the time. You get to have one Zoom meeting and it's over. And I think that's the benefit of doing it right now, is because you can hide him.
Yeah, but he can still say ridiculous crap in his one Zoom meeting.
But it's one meeting and then it's over. It's one meeting and then it's over. You don't have somebody like asking him things every day. That's the thing, is you can prep him for that meeting and he can say crazy stuff, but it's not going to be the same as somebody picking at him every single day.
Chris is answering this question exactly like a former sports writer would.
Yeah, well, I still think that they're going to just keep asking him follow-up questions the entire session until he says something completely ridiculous, because he's going to say something ridiculous.
Tom Brady's going to be somewhere close cutting the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
AP, shut up. No more Wi-Fi.
Deflating the Wi-Fi?
Ooh.
It's like when Avengers Endgame came out and they had to put I think they had to put Benedict Cumberbatch in with Tom Talks Too Much, because Tom kept revealing secrets and Benedict had to be there to just go, no, we're not talking about that. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that was funny. All right. So, the other point I want to make is you've already got Godwin and Evans there. So Antonio Brown at best is going to be your number 3 option. I mean, is he just kind of along for the ride? You can't expect a ton of production out of him, can you?
I mean, everything's been rolling in Tampa Bay. I know that they had that slip up against the Bears, but Ronald Jones has been doing well. Evans catches those 1-yard touchdown passes. Godwin's finally getting healthy. And so to bring a guy in like Antonio Brown and a guy who's still 2 weeks out to where they're playing is, to me, you still have kind of even a question mark is what's really going to happen? What if they hit a stride in the next 2 weeks and they're like, man, this is just going to kind of mess it up. Does he even play a game for Tampa Bay would be my question. And that's why I kind of think that you hold him in redraft and get rid of him as fast as you can in Dynasty.
Yeah, I don't see any real upside to this. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me. The wide receiver 3 on this team doesn't really matter all that much. It feels like this could be a potential like Richie Incognito like scenario almost, because Antonio Brown is used to being that number 1 wide receiver. When you saw things not go that way with the Raiders, that's when he started to lose his mind. And it kind of all stems back to that ridiculously like illegal hit that he took. Like he seemed normal up until that point, but
after things went nuts after that hit he lost his mind. And I think there's Chris.
Yeah.
And now he's gone.
Computer on its way. That's why this one is rebelling a lot. I'm sorry.
Ooh, what'd you get? Nerd talk.
Another.
This is fantastic.
I assume by when he says another, he's going to get some type of Mac, whether that be a Pro or an Air, I don't know. But I'm willing to talk Mac and Mac specs all day long, but that is not this show. All right, so Donald, let's talk your wide receiver rankings. I'm looking at him here. Who's your number 11 guy? So if Nuke doesn't play this week, because there was talk that he might not play, who's your number 11 guy?
Allen Robinson.
Correct.
I know that I know he's going to be shadowed by Ramsey, but I just kind of think that it's a situation where the volume's there for him. So I like the chances that he does get enough catches to make him very viable in PPR.
Why do you have Metcalf 5 spots above Lockett?
He's averaging 20 some odd yards per catch. So, I mean, that's 3 points every time he touches the ball, at least. And so the big play's there for him, and so I feel like when he catches the ball, it has potential to go for 6 every single time, as opposed to Lockett catches a lot of those underneath passes that gets you, nets you like 7 to 11 yards per catch.
All right, that's fair. I'll allow that. All right, let me start throwing out some random numbers, and we'll see who you've got.
Wide receiver wise?
Yeah, wide receiver wise.
Okay.
So 17.
Amari Cooper. He's my top ranked Cowboys receiver. When I did this, I didn't know what the weather was going to be like, so I might downgrade him just a little bit now, maybe in the 21 to 24 range. But if you own Cooper, obviously you're starting him regardless of what the weather looks like.
Yes. Speaking of weather, as Tom Pelissero pops up on my iPad over here off screen, who is your top rated wide receiver in the Jarvis Bowl?
Tyreek. I think that weather doesn't really slow down Mahomes very much. So speed, as long as we're preventing, as long as we're not going to have like 6-7 inches in that game of snow on the ground at all points, I don't know that it's really going to stop or slow down the fast Chiefs offense.
Okay.
Obviously, when you have a slippery slushy field, that favors the offense because they know where they're going.
That's what they say. I don't know if I truly believe that. As the IDP guy of the crew, I don't know if I truly believe that.
Right.
But 'tis what it 'tis be. All right, give me number 27. I want somebody who's just outside your top 24.
27. So basically the beginning of my wide receiver 3 flex rankings.
See.
T. Higgins.
Do you have the Denzel Mims kid ranked anywhere? The one from the Jets?
From the Jets, I do not. I'd like to see what he does in his first week in that offense before I trust him too much.
That is fair. Christopher.
I'm back for the moment. We'll see how long it lasts.
Okay. You need to invest yourself in a hotspot, bud.
I ran upstairs, I kicked the modem in the head, and now it's fine.
That's the way
that
I
like T. Higgins. I think that he really has great potential. He's shown consistency in his numbers the last few weeks. I am starting to worry about Joe Burrow's long-term health here, guys, because he's been hit 57 times, I think, so far this year, and he's had 24 sacks already. So
that's a need to figure out situation.
Yeah, if you can't protect him, you might be looking at we need to sit him for the benefit of the franchise at a certain point here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right, DJ wants me to ask one more before we go to break. DJ, dare I ask, but who is your number 36 ranked wide receiver?
This is going to blow your mind. Juju Smith-Schuster.
Okay.
Pretty low.
What'd you say, Chris?
That's pretty low.
Yeah, he's not involved in the offense quite the way I'd like him to be, to trust him as my wide receiver 1 or 2. Hopefully, if you have him, you've been able to add some guys, whether that was Travis Fulgham, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, guys that you can trust a little bit more ahead of him. Obviously, at 36, he's still that. I mean, he's that last wide receiver 3. And so if you start 3 receivers, which a lot of leagues do, some leagues have that as a requirement. Other leagues, you would start him in your flex. So you're still starting him. But I'd like to see more out of him. His average depth of target has gone way down this year. So I'd like to see more out of him before I trust him in those wide receiver 1 to 2 lineup spots.
On the Brandon Sampson hot pepper scale, how mad are you that Juju is the 36th ranked wide receiver, considering that most of the time he's probably either going to be your wide receiver 1 or 2?
Something under, but something between chili and whatever's above chili.
They're all chilies.
No, they're all pepper.
Back ribs.
It doesn't quite reach like ghost pepper or It's higher than jalapeno, lower than ghost pepper. How about that?
DJ, Halloween's coming up. Ghost pepper right there. There's your tie-in.
Oh yeah, we didn't do it.
Spooky.
We'll do all the Halloween jokes next week because I forgot about that.
Well, next time you see us, it'll be November, bro. Well, I guess Wednesday, but
yeah, Doug, come on. We got to celebrate Halloween while we can, and that's right now.
Okay, all right. We keep Halloween in our hearts all year round. Is that how that goes? No, that's a different holiday. Anyway, okay. So that'll take us to the end of our first segment. We'll do a couple of commercials, and then on the other side of that, we're going to talk a little quarterbacks because we have some other news this week. Sunday is still the best day at Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill. While your favorite jamokes aren't back on the deck talking fantasy football, they are still one of the best places in the Quad Cities for your football viewing pleasures. Their back deck is ready to go for late season football. The sides are up and the heat is on to protect you from Mother Nature, where you can enjoy the Bears, Packers, and any of your favorite out-of-market teams on their 10-foot screen. If outside isn't your thing, and it's not mine, you can head into their remodeled inside bar area and watch NFL Sunday Ticket on their numerous screens and play their adult video games. I hear they have the loosest slots in the Quad Cities. That's Kavanaugh's Hilltop Bar and Grill, 1228 30th Street in Rock Island, the non-bubble home of For Fantasy's Sake. We are no longer a PG show, but we are still saying frick at For Fantasy's Sake. Frick's Tap, that is. If the Davenport side is more your style for your football watching pleasure, head to Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, where they have 20 beers on tap. Beer isn't your scene? That's okay. They have $3 you call it all day, during all of the Sunday football games. I probably should read these before I do them. Frick's has the NFL Sunday Ticket on all their 13 TV screens, so don't fret if your team is playing on the West Coast this week. So for Frick's sakes, head into Frick's Tap today. DJ changed them. We added in a new sponsor. Welcome to Frick's. We will do better on the next go around. Hopefully it is the same verbiage so I can see that. I was also judging DJ's grammar as I was going through there. Sentences end in a period, sir.
You end in a period.
Doug, read it as either a spooky vampire or a spooky ghost. Just do it again as a spooky vampire or a spooky ghost. We're going all in on this Halloween thing. Maybe they have the ghost peppers. Oh,
the ghost peppers. My vampire is not good.
Oh, just count 1, 2, 3.
You can tell Chris has a toddler at home.
Yeah,
this is like 90% of my day.
Yeah. I haven't done that. I can probably still quote Finding Nemo. I'm that generation of
So what are your kids going trick-or-treating as, or what would you be going trick-or-treating as this year?
Well, my oldest is going as a McDonald's employee because she has to work that night.
Oh, boo. Boo, yeah. Get it? Aha.
Oh, brother. I'm not sure about the little one. She's probably just going to wear PJs or something.
Harper's going to be a lamb because it's cold, but we tried to do like a trunk or treat on Thursday, and she dressed up as a Kansas City Chiefs cheerleader.
Yeah.
That's child abuse, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's child abuse.
My wife dressed her.
Ours is going as Pikachu, and my wife and I are going to a very small party as Napoleon Dynamite and Deb. So
nice.
It's going to be a fun couples costume.
Nice. The last time I dressed up, which was last year at work, and me and my buddies won second place for best collective costumes because one of them was Sean McVay, the other one was Bruce Arians, and I was Andy Reid.
Nice.
In Madden, even when the Tampa Bay fires Bruce Arians, the coach still dresses like Bruce Arians, so they have a very young guy dressed like in that weird, like kind of old man trench coat that Arians wears on the sidelines, and it's hilarious to me every time I see it.
That is really funny.
That is funny. I am generally into lazy costumes. So you'll normally either catch me in a football jersey, though a couple of years ago I went as Jake from State Farm because I had a red polo and some khakis. Easiest costume ever.
Yeah, like legit. When I was Andy Reid, I wore a Chiefs pullover and a pair of khaki pants and a hat, and so like literally just stuff I had around the house.
You should be punt, pass, and kick Andy Reid though.
That was that was
You
going
have
to be
your
our
child go with you, and you're like dwarfing them.
My buddy at work is like Nate sized,
Mhm.
and so had we not been at home working from home, that was our plan this year. He was going to be like the normal sized child, and I was going to be punt, pass, and kick Andy Reid.
Or you could have normal sized child / Derrick Henry and just be stiff arming them over and over again. Like at each door, you stiff arm them over.
Do you think going to the ice machine just stiff arm somebody?
Yeah.
Do you think they enjoy my crop top at work though?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't. I'd have to paint abs on. All right, we're digressing.
Yes. We need to get away. We need to get away from shirtless DJ. Yeah, until shirtless DJ shows up, and then we got to move away because then that becomes scary. All right, so
It's
let's
scary.
So let's just start with the fun stuff. See, terrible vampires.
Oh, well, you went all in. I appreciate it, Doug.
All right, so it is Tua time down in Miami. So start of this week, they said, I believe it was Monday, that Tua is going to be the starter after the bye week this week. Miami's on bye this week. Coming off the bye next week, Tua will be the starter. Fitzpatrick is going to go to the bench. He cried. Dallas tried to trade for him. But realistically, what do you guys think that we will see out of Tua? I'm not going to try and say his last name, Vailoa.
Tagovailoa. I think you're probably starting him in 2 quarterback leagues for sure. And I mean, Miami's has a decent offense outside of their run game. So I think there's potential in what Tua can do. I'm not trusting him in single quarterback leagues at this point. I'd like to see him do it for a few weeks and maybe even not at all this season, and unless they can get like a real wide receiver. But you're starting him in 2 quarterback leagues, and I think you're trusting him. I think that it's a set it and forget it type of deal.
Yeah, I think in keeper leagues, this is what you want to see because you're probably not starting him in this year anyway. The more experience he gets in for this year is going to make him even more of an impact player next year. I think this move really unlocks Preston Williams. If you look at his depth of target, which is something that DJ was talking about earlier, his depth of target may be the deepest in the league. So he hasn't had the volume to really like break out this year, but with a quarterback who's able to get the ball down the field, we all know by now that Ryan Fitzpatrick has a noodle for an arm. He's just the guy who's going to get the ball out on time and try and get it to the guy who's open. But at the same time, now we've got a quarterback in there who can really fling the ball around, and maybe this is what really unlocks Preston Williams. I'm interested in the fact that Tua's parents didn't believe him when he told them that he was starting because they said he had only thrown 2 passes in the other game, so they didn't believe that he was actually starting. I thought that was hilarious.
Jordan Ringel wants to know why you guys don't think that Devontae Parker's a real wide receiver.
I think Devontae Parker's a very good wide receiver too on a team. I think that if they could get somebody who, when I say real wide receiver, I think about like watching DeAndre Hopkins play against teams where you know that he's going to get the ball on 3rd down. Everybody knows he's going to get the ball on 3rd down, and there's literally nothing you can do to stop it. And you don't get that idea, huh?
Iowa yesterday.
Iowa did what?
Basically, everybody in the eastern half of the state of Iowa knew that the Purdue wide receiver is going to get the ball, and they decided not to cover him.
Yeah, so that's when I think about a real wide receiver. That's the kind of people I think about, are guys that you know when they're going to get the ball and they still catch it.
Yeah, I think that Devontae Parker, we summoned him last week because he had like one of the best games of his career last week. I think the thing is that if he was going to be one of these guys that we could depend on, every single week, we would have found that out by now. If he was a breakout talent or somebody that we think could ever challenge to be in that first tier of wide receivers, he would have proven that by now. He's a fine wide receiver. He can help your team out, but he's not that guy that you want him to be or the guy that he was supposed to be, I think, at this point in his career. And I think that's why we kind of downgrade him a little bit. He's a solid option, but that's the nicest thing you can really say about him.
Yeah, he misses Teddy. He had Teddy at Louisville, and that's what made him look good. And now he's been playing with sub-Teddy level guys. Two of them will be his best quarterback that he's played with probably since Teddy, maybe before Teddy.
That might be true. I'm trying to think about it, and that's probably 100% true. Yeah, I think that Miami will benefit just from having the stability at quarterback. And speaking of teams that we're looking at, that are you selling guys or are you buying guys? You mentioned the Cowboys, Doug. DJ, where are you at with the Cowboys right now? Are you selling everybody as hard as you can, or are you buying up guys just feeling like people are afraid right now?
I was actually attempting this week to buy Cooper in a Dynasty League because I think that this is the lowest his value will be. Because keeper dynasty-wise, I think that you're going to see people want to get out from under Cooper because they can win this year. And so it's you identify the people who are going chips in, and all chips in, and those are the guys you want to target for, like Cooper and Juju Smith-Schuster, guys like that they think they can win this season, so they want to get a receiver who's more dependable.
Right. Now, in my keeper league, it's very confusing because right now there's one team that has no wins, there's one team that's undefeated, and everybody else is 2-3 or 3-2. There's no in between right now. Everybody's right in the mix. That's
my Dynasty League right now. Is like there's 4 teams that are 4-2, and then 3 teams that are 4-2, 4 teams that are 3-3, and then 3 teams that are 2-4, and then an 0-6 team. So everybody's right there with each other, except for the 0-6 team, which they're in a rebuild. So I mean, stuff like that happens.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Is your keeper true keeper, or is it Dynasty?
It's you can keep everybody. I don't know what's true keeper. Can you explain that for me? Okay.
True keeper, I would say you keep like anywhere between like 3 to 5 guys.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's just Dynasty.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last question that I wanted to hit on. We spent too much time talking Halloween, but I saw this pop up on Twitter earlier this week from our friend Ryan McDowell over at DLF. He had a bunch of
boss.
Yeah, my former boss. Thanks, boss. But the one that caught my attention, he had a bunch of surveys that he likes to run just to get kind of people's opinions.
Hey, Doug, not to interrupt, but Shefty Bomb, Aaron Jones is inactive.
Okay.
So get Aaron Jones out of your lineups. If you own Aaron Jones, he is inactive today.
Yes, play Jamal Williams, the superior running back. Anyway.
So back to your Ryan McDowell thing.
Yeah, he didn't mean to interrupt, but he totally interrupted.
No, I think that's more important than what Doug was saying. So
it is. I'll give him it is. All right. So quickly, since we're running out of time as we head into this break, the question that caught my attention was: would you rather have Justin Herbert or Deshaun Watson rest of season?
It's a good question.
I thought so. That's why I decided to ask it.
I'll go Justin Herbert rest of season. He plays the Chiefs again.
I'll go with Justin Herbert because he has a great matchup this week. If you're looking for him to really get you off to a hot start, I would really think that this week he's going to put up some nice numbers. The rest of the way, they just can't protect Deshaun enough. That I don't think that, given his injury history, that he's going to stay healthy long term. That's my major concern with Deshaun, is he's going to have those big games where he alone wins you a week, but can you really risk having that injury history come into play, especially late in the year, because he hasn't had one yet. So it's looming out there that it's going to happen at some point. Is it going to happen right around the playoffs where you're left looking for a Nick Foles to kind of just fill out your lineup?
or worse, that you start him, he doesn't finish the game, and you're stuck with like a 0.14 because he got knocked out early in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the worst. Should be allowed a substitution for injuries like that because you wouldn't play without a quarterback in real football.
Well, you kind of end up doing that.
Yeah. All right, so that'll take us to the end of this segment. On the other side, we will talk a little running backs. We get to go Chiefs for DJ. So that is what you are looking at on the other side of that. Please make sure that you are sending in your questions either via Facebook, via Twitters, or here in the chat. We are always more than happy to answer any and all of your questions. Located in the Belgium neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint is serving up 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish your football watching experience off with one of their famous Quad City-style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC-style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Drafthouse Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. Who doesn't need a solid handcuff on their fantasy squad? Grab a bite to eat at Clint's Drafthouse while watching the noon games, and then head on over across the Moline Rock Island border to the corner tap for some libations during the 3 o'clock games. Every Sunday is fun day at the corner with $3 tall boys, Bloody Marys, Jack Daniels, and $2 PBR drafts. Head into the corner tap, 4018 14th Avenue, Rock Island, and get into the end zone. Rock River Fitness, located at 3416 Blackhawk Road in Rock Island, offers a wide variety of classes starting as low as $7 per class and just $10 for specialty classes. With classes that include different yoga, Zumba, cardio, fusion, and strength training, Rock River Fitness has a little something for everyone and at a crazy affordable rate. Find them on Facebook, the MindBody app, or visit their website, rockriverfitness.com, and start planning your next fitness class. Rock River Fitness, where fitness is fun. All righty, so we're going to talk probably the entire 15 minutes on level. See, Chris, this is where we needed to interrupt with the Halloween talk so we could cut down on the Chiefs talk.
Well, we had on the shot sheet that you wanted to talk about quarterback rankings. You can start off with that, and then we can spend a couple minutes on that if you want.
Nah.
Okay.
Everything has its own segment, dude. Organization, planning, organization. That's the foundation of the show. Nah.
Yeah.
All right. So, as everybody and his brother knows, Lev Bell signed in Kansas City. Today is his first day to be active. Reports are everybody's all excited. So, Chris, before DJ goes word vomiting for the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you the floor so that you can answer all those questions. And then I'm going to wander off and get a drink and let DJ just babble for 10 minutes.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. Sounds good.
I don't know why you would want to interrupt Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now, because he's playing at an elite level. He's got more tread on his tires. He's got more of a burst than Le'Veon Bell does. I guess the only reason you really want Le'Veon Bell in this situation is to be like a third down back, but with Edwards-Helaire, he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So that's not something where he really needs somebody to come in and be that pair of hands for the team. I don't really get where Le'Veon Bell really falls in for the Chiefs. DJ, maybe you can tell us more about that, because right now it feels like a redundant piece, but maybe it's just there in case of an injury that happens. But how do you keep him happy in this situation too?
I think that it's hard to say with Le'Veon Bell because he's Le'Veon Bell. But one, I hope it doesn't reflect my Madden franchise, because I had multiple meetings with Le'Veon Bell on Madden where he wasn't happy with what he was getting. So I ended up trading him because I was just tired of hearing, oh, I'm not getting enough touches. But I think that Le'Veon Bell serves as an interesting piece where he's your backup running back, but he's also like your third or fourth wide receiver. if somebody goes down. So he's gonna serve, I think, multiple roles as a chief, where I think that there'll be a lot of situations where Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Le'Veon Bell are on the field at the same time. And I think they're expecting, with how their defense played against the Raiders, that they're going to have to win some track meets in the postseason because their defense has shown that they have holes, and that didn't appear late in the season last year because their defense really stepped up. So I think that they think they're going to have to win track meets, and you need multiple guys to run the 4x4 and then the 4x1. And I think that's kind of their mindset, which it's kind of the same with Tampa Bay. You just go out and you get a ton of pieces and you figure out how they fit later.
Yeah, I get that. Especially because it seems like the Chiefs defense, I might be wrong on this, but the Chiefs defense doesn't seem like it's getting to the quarterback the way they did last year.
Correct.
That seemed to be one of the things they were good at last year, is they get that lead and then they can just pin their ears back and go get them. But this year it seems like they've kind of struggled to do that.
They kind of did. They were able to do that against Buffalo, and late in the game against it's been half and half, I'll actually say, because you think against Buffalo they did it against the Patriots, they did it against the Ravens, but then in other games you just kind of questioned. And part of me wonders if they're kind of one of those teams that plays against plays down or up to the competition, and they could just, like against the Raiders, they got themselves in a really bad situation, and they're not good enough to take teams lightly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so they're not good, but they're not bad. And I think that if you get a fully healthy Chris Jones and you get Frank Clark going again, because that was the big difference last year. Frank Clark was playing just insane late in the year, where they were able to pin their ears back. So I think you see what they're able to do in the next couple of weeks before we really determine what their identity is defensively. So like I said, until you know what you are defensively, you just try to win all these track meets, and Le'Veon Bell gives them another weapon to win a track meet.
Do you start Le'Veon Bell if you have him on your fantasy team?
In my flex, yeah, I give him a chance. Again, it kind of depends if you have, like, I would start Juju Smith-Schuster over him. And, of my 40 wide receivers, Juju Smith-Schuster's 36. He was 37 before I took Michael Thomas out. So Le'Veon Bell's in that same area at running back, and in PPR especially, I would start a wide receiver 2 over a running back 2, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would start a guy who is boom or bust wide receiver over boom or bust running back, because you're really expecting those running backs who are second in a tandem. You're really depending on them catching 6 more passes than the number 1 running back are getting in the end zone.
So say you have Edwards-Helaire. Are you trying to do a low leverage trade to get Le'Veon Bell just to protect yourself a little bit here?
Yeah, I could see that. But I think what happened against Buffalo was an anomaly as far as how often the Chiefs were running the ball. I don't think you're going to see that a ton. Because the only passing option that was fantasy viable last week was Kelsey, and that's because he caught 2 touchdowns. His yardage. He didn't get a lot of yards, and he didn't get a lot of catches. So you take out those 2 touchdowns, and it's a really disappointing game for Kelsey. So I think that, like I said, it's an anomaly, the amount that they ran the ball, and I feel like if Edwards-Helaire went down, Bell would still be in that wide running back 2 to 3 range, instead of like in Cleveland where Nick Chubb went down and Kareem Hunt's a top 5 option.
Do you think that it's last week's game, just from the Chiefs' offensive standpoint, is not? It's an anomaly because the game was an anomaly. Do you think that's essentially what it was? Or do you think this was a game plan of, we want to run the ball a lot? Or do you think they saw in game that, hey, this might be the only way we get things going?
I think that they thought maybe that's the only way they get things going, because of the wet track, and I think that in pregame they saw some guys slipping and sliding around on the turf, and obviously you don't want that when the other team has a strike quick offense just like you do, because if they get their footing, then all of a sudden Stephon Diggs has got an 80-yard wide open touchdown. And so I think that it was partially the weather and then partially let's keep Josh Allen off the field, because just like teams do to the Chiefs, try to take the air out of the ball. So I just, there's not a whole lot of offenses I think will intimidate the Chiefs as far as strike fast. So running the ball is boring to me. So
not if you can do it well. If you can do it well, it's fun. If you can't do it well, it's hard.
It's boring. I would rather see one play 74-yard scoring drives than 10 play 74-yard scoring drives.
I think you're biased here, DJ. You just saw Devin Singletary running last week, and he had 10 carries for 32 yards, and nobody wants to see that ever again.
You grew up in the Western Big Six, where they haven't discovered the forward pass yet.
I understand that, and I thought running was exciting. That's back when I liked defense better than offense, but now I like offense better.
Okay. Right.
Offense is more exciting.
Yeah, so they say. All right, so I'm going to call a quick audible here, just because I saw this headline pop up on NFL.com. So the NFL trade deadline is closing in, like here in the next week or so. Probably less than a week, right around a week.
Yes.
Is there anybody fantasy relevant that you guys could see moving here in the next week?
I wouldn't be surprised to honestly, if the Cowboys fall flat, to see them try to trade for either Fitzpatrick or Dwayne Haskins, somebody who can. Andy Dalton looked terrible on Monday night. And I think that you put any quarterback in that offense and you trust them to elevate the other weapons. I won't say I would.
Andy Dalton?
Yeah, I won't say I was dead wrong on Andy Dalton, because I'm willing to give it another week. But man, I was wrong on Andy Dalton. I could see John Ross maybe making a move. He's not fantasy relevant at this point, but in the right spot, he could be. Again, if he goes to one of those teams with a big arm quarterback, that he could make moves. I mean, he'd be an interesting piece to have in that team you guys like in Chicago. Yeah, to kind of replace what Taylor Gabriel was able to do a year ago. So I think John Ross could suddenly become fantasy relevant if he was able to get traded. I know David Njoku wants to be traded, and so I think he's a top 10 tight end if he goes to a place where he's used. But
yeah,
you don't often see teams trading for tight ends.
Talking about Dallas, you just remember all those articles about how Mike McCarthy was supposed to have said he learned so many things from his time at the end of the Green Bay, and at the end of his run in Green Bay. And then here he is again. The moment things start to go bad in Dallas, his players can't wait to just knife him in the back again. Right. And I think it's just kind of hilarious that he's supposed to have learned and become this better coach and things like that. It feels like it's just a weird place to be in, where there's so many things that are waiting to go wrong in Dallas all the time. And the moment that something does go wrong, all of them go wrong at the same time. And so I just want to try and see what this offense looks like in another week, where Ezekiel Elliott isn't dribbling the ball up and down the field. I think that might help out, the Red Rifle a little more.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. So let's talk. Yeah, we don't have to talk running back rank. Deej, you want to talk running back ranks? Who's an interesting person that you have in your running back ranks? I'll give you one shot at it.
One shot, one opportunity. I think
it's your chance.
Todd Gurley's finally found his way into running back one conversation with because he was a guy who you were depending on him falling into the end zone, and he's finally got a little bit of traction going, and to the point where I'm comfortable starting him in a running back slot.
What number do you have him at, Deej?
I actually have him RB10. So RB11 is Ronald Jones, RB12 is James Robinson. So, and they're playing a weaker Detroit defense, but I think that you're no longer depending on him to fall into the end zone. They're using him a little bit more in the pass game. So he's a guy that I'm trusting, but I'm also willing to not give him away, but I'm willing to see maybe what I can get in a trade in Dynasty.
Speaking of Doug's thing about like wide receivers, if you're the Packers, are you trying to trade for a wide receiver at this point because you've lost Lazard? Scantling hasn't really stepped up the way you'd have hoped he would. He's a deep threat, but it's 3 catches for 75 yards or it's 3 catches for 12 yards. So I don't really understand what's going on with him. Parker's been beat up a lot. I'm sorry, not Parker, but
Adams.
Adams has been beat up a lot this year. So what are you looking at a real wide receiver trade in Green Bay if you're that franchise?
If they had a real general manager, yes. But because they are Green Bay, who insist that they don't need wide receivers because they have Aaron Rodgers, then no.
Agreed.
But they do have a new general manager now.
Meet the new boss, same as the old boss.
Well, he went out in free agency and he got himself Jimmy Graham, and then he never used him. That was something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Speaking of wide,
I know that's before your time, but it was also from CSI, which was also probably before your time.
what was the first thing you said? It's from what?
The Who.
Like the band?
The band, The Who, yes.
Gotcha.
No, World Health Organization, DJ. That's what he was referring to. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, if you're the Packers, do you go out and get AJ Green for maybe a 3rd or 4th round pick?
Yes.
No, high.
I
Maybe
would.
4th or 5th, but not a 3rd.
You don't think if maybe he's like incentivized a little bit more, he starts to get going? Like he had a good week last week.
He did. I don't think Cincinnati's going to be willing to trade him. So,
really?
Yeah, I think he's important to their wide receiver room.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a silly reason to keep a guy.
I know,
especially with your quarterback of the future getting killed on every play.
Yeah,
accurate.
But offensive linemen don't get traded either.
Well, you're not trading for an offensive lineman. You're trading for a pick that could potentially be an offensive lineman next year, maybe.
Right.
But your quarterback's dead by then. So, all right. Let us go to the breakage, and then on the other side of the breakage, we will do the Bears and the Packers. Even though we just talked a little Packers, but that's all right. All right, that's fine. Here we go. Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. With nearly 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all your home improvement projects. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715. Hate mowing? We know DJ does. Need your lawn or business landscaped? We know DJ does. Need your grass irrigated or fertilized before the ground freezes? We know DJ does. Need anything else yard related? We know DJ does. Yard Barbers LLC is your hookup, and they aren't just good for your summertime yard blues. They work all year round, and you can get signed up for winter services for that annoying to-do snow removal that DJ hates. Find Yard Barbers on Facebook at Yard Barbers LLC. Send them an email at yardbarbersqc@gmail.com or shoot them a text at 309-235-1595.
I actually like shoveling.
Ugh, no, hard pass. That is why I rent, so I don't ever have to shovel again.
Oh, Doug, you were talking about the Who. You don't have to shovel again.
Yes.
There you go.
There. All right.
Doug can't take it.
We're not gonna take it.
Oh, DJ singing again.
Yes. AC/DC. Have you heard of AC/DC, Deej?
Yes.
Okay. See, my wife has never heard of like any band ever. So like I can like pull names out of a hat and she'll be like, who?
So she's like Nate with movies.
Yeah. Like the year that Red Hot Chili Peppers did the halftime show at the Super Bowl, she was seriously like, who are these guys?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I deal with on a daily basis.
What's like the most irrelevant band she knows though? Because she has to have one like that doesn't like we would never know it, but she 100% knows it. Do you know who that would be, Doug? Same question for you, DJ, with Nate's movies. Like, does he have like one movie that's terrible that no one's ever seen, but he's never seen a Star Wars movie?
No, Nate's pretty. He's seen good movies. I don't think he really likes bad movies. Like he loves Back to the Future, so I'll allow it because Back to the Future is great.
Joe used to like this one artist. I can't even remember his name now when we were dating. That he was like literally like a one-hit wonder. Like had one song, was there, she was all about him, and then like he was gone. And I can't remember who that was because that was
it was
like,
Hanson, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't even Hanson. It was like some country dude.
What happens is Joe has never heard of Garth Brooks, but she loves Chris Gaines.
There we go. That's a good joke. She's not watching this week. She's off with the new cat, so she's not. So I'm safe for punishment.
But you should definitely tell her that one day. DJ said you don't know who Garth Brooks is, but you love Chris Gaines.
She'd be like, "Who's Chris Gaines?" Trust me.
I know.
That'll be funny. Okay. We want to talk Bears Packers? Sure, why not? All right. So we've talked a little Packers, but let's go ahead and let's run into them. So they finally lost last week, thank God.
Hold on. Speaking of the Packers, they just
Aaron Jones. We already talked about that.
No, they just posted a thing on Fantasy Football Now. They always do this segment, guys who were offered in trades, and Lev Bell was most offered, obviously, 236,000 times. But the most accepted player in trades was Aaron Rodgers. 15.8% of offers involving Aaron Rodgers were accepted on ESPN, which kind of blows my mind.
What do you think that says? Do you think people are just selling on Aaron Rodgers after one bad week, or do you think people are trying to pick up a low buy?
A little bit of both. This is me. This is the fence. This is me.
Yeah.
No, I think this is a kind of,
that was probably.
I think you have people who are concerned on Aaron Rodgers without a surefire receiver or pass catcher behind Adams, especially with Aaron Jones going down. Who is your second best pass catcher in Green Bay at this point?
The tight end who I can never remember his name.
Yeah,
Tanya.
But Bob might not play. It's actually Tunyon.
Okay, Tanya.
No, it's Tunyon. Like it rhymes with Funyon.
Okay, Tanya Harding. Got it.
Yep.
But he also might not play today. National Tight End Day, and one of the funnest tight ends in football might not play.
Gotcha.
All right. So here's a question for you. It was too long to put in the shot sheet. So last week, Rodgers did not throw a touchdown. Rodgers has never gone 2 consecutive games without throwing a touchdown. He's the only player in the last 70 years to have that streak.
Wow.
Did he throw a touchdown today?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
See,
do you think? Really? Okay. Who do they have today?
Too much history against him. Who's Green Bay playing today? Houston?
Yeah.
Yes, he. This is a game where Rodgers throws 4 touchdowns to Equanimous St. Brown. I also saw this interesting or heard this interesting stat. Aaron Rodgers has lost 47% of his games all time when he trailed at any point in the game.
Really?
Yeah. Also, he's lost 19 times in his career by more than 14 points.
So, does anybody else find it weird though that Matt LaFleur games, the ones they lose, they get the doors blown off of them? Like, you think back to the playoff game against San Francisco and a couple of their losses last year too. The games they're in, they win, but the games they lose, they're losing huge.
Is that a Matt LaFleur thing or an Aaron Rodgers thing? Because at 19 times in his career, he's only lost 62 games, and 19 of those have been by 14 or more points, two touchdowns or more. And by comparison, the number was like 22 for Peyton Manning and like 14 for Tom Brady.
So are you saying there's some give up in there?
And 0 for Patrick Mahomes, but
definitely give up.
Yeah, there's definitely give up in Aaron Rodgers, and when you have a lot of people in our generation, Chris, Doug's an old bird, but in our generation who are saying that strictly talent wise, that Aaron Rodgers is the best quarterback they've ever seen, and then you break down those kind of numbers, and it's like, is he? You know what I mean? Like to me, talent wise, yeah, he's great, but
Aaron Rodgers isn't even the best Green Bay wide receiver or Green Bay quarterback of all time.
Oh, that's accurate. But when you think about people under my age, Brett Favre was just a guy after, when they started watching football,
I'm
like
talking Don Majkowski, goddammit.
You're talking who?
Exactly. Don Majkowski. The guy Brett Favre replaced.
No, I know. I didn't hear what you said, Doug.
The Magic Man himself.
So I just think we romanticize Aaron Rodgers, and we don't actually, because he's very good at those games where he's going to lose, but he puts up great numbers in games they win, but you think about what he's done in his career too against great defenses. Like, as somebody who owned him in Dynasty for a really long time, I think about those games against the Bears where he would win the game 17-14, but both of those touchdowns, he just disappeared against good teams throughout his career.
Playoff game up in Seattle.
Huh?
There was a playoff game in Seattle.
Where the Packers only played a half?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they still would have won if they didn't have Richard Rodgers on their team?
No, I think that was Brandon Bostic.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I think Brandon Bostic's the one that screwed that up.
It was a tight end that didn't matter.
If there's a Packers fan in the comments, they'll let us know. They all. Tyler Nosovich says, "Bear down."
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing about Rodgers is if you want to knock him for that, you have to give him credit for the fact that they're always ahead too. He's responsible for the fact that they're always ahead. So this is kind of like LeBron talk where we're like, oh yeah, LeBron, he's only good when they're ahead and he's a front runner and stuff like that. Well, LeBron's the reason that they're ahead, and LeBron is doing well, and that's why they're ahead by so much.
Right.
Sure.
No, I agree. I
give no credit to LeBron or Aaron Rodgers, but I'm a hater. All right, into 60 seconds. Chris, all you. Why does Matt Nagy hate the running game so bad?
I don't think he hates the running game. I just don't think he's good at it. And I think that's why they hired somebody to manage the running game for him. And he keeps blaming them for not being good at it. But if you look at the track record now, Mike Montgomery, not good at the running game. Jordan Howard, not good at the running game. I think it's not the running backs or the running game that's the problem. I think it's the plays that are being called. And I think that's the real problem with this team. It might be that Montgomery is more of a third down back because he's good at getting the ball in space and making moves there, but he's not good at setting up his blocks. He's juking out ghosts and doing stuff that I don't really understand. Ooh, spooky ghosts. And if you look at Mike Davis, a running back who I hate, watching him last week, he used his blockers and he used his hesitation to set up his moves. And that's something that Montgomery doesn't do. And I think that's the real flaw in his game, is that he's supposed to be this patient back and he's supposed to make people miss. He's trying to make people miss immediately, and he doesn't have to. He's making moves against no one, and he's not setting anything up. So maybe that's on the offensive line, but it feels like it's more on him here. So I think there's a lot of parties to blame, essentially.
I say anytime you have Cordero Patterson, who is a speedy wide receiver, you have to play him at running back and run him right up the middle. You just have to do it. That's the Bears running game in a nutshell. That's the problem with the Bears running game in a nutshell.
Well, even when he hasn't had too many touches, the running game still struggles. Like, it seemed like that week that Tariq Cohen went down, they were like, okay, we're going to have a mixture of Montgomery and Patterson. And then they were like, that's probably not a good idea. Let's get Montgomery more touches. And last week in the second half, he started to look good. But you can't have him touch the ball 20 times and get 30 yards and then be like, oh, but did you see those last 5 touches he had? Those were really good in the fourth quarter. You can't do that. That's why this offense sputters so much, is you just need somebody to get you on time to get those situations where you have 3rd and 2 and you can just pick it up instead of having 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 7. Just get yards on 1st and 2nd down by running the ball, and that'll help you so much more than it possibly could right now.
Totally agree. Yep. All right. So that'll take us to the end of this segment. On the other side, we will take you through the inactives, and then after that, we will take your questions, answer your questions. We will take them at any point, but we will answer your questions, and then we will run through the rapid fires. DJ, sit still. You're jumping all over the place.
I accidentally closed out. I was trying to put Luke. Can somebody message me in the private chat what Lucas Conger's question is?
Oh, he said it was Brandon Bostic who.
No, but he asked a question. It was like Debo.
Oh, I missed it. I'll go back. Yep,
I see it. It's that.
Yeah, Gio Bernard or David Montgomery. I would start Montgomery.
Gio Bernard because of the mustache.
Actually, I would say Gio.
You got to buy a whisker.
Nixon's not playing today, so that's going to be the Gio show.
Yeah,
and he catches more passes.
Yep. All righty. Let us head to commercial, and then we will talk broken people on the other side. And I don't just mean just me and my therapist. All right, here we go. Football season is just underway, and if you're spending Sundays watching football anywhere but Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, you've been doing it wrong. Van's Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport, is the best place to catch all your favorite games. And there is still time to make it part of your Sunday routine. Start your meal off with their famous McGuire's Original Nachos or Bready Nuggets. Then ask about one of their original QC-style pizzas. Or be your own quarterback and call an audible and create your own. The Vans crew will be sure to your call hits pay dirt every time. Vans Pizza Pub and Grill, 3333 North Harrison Street in Davenport. Come get served. Located in the Belgian neighborhood of 7th Street in Moline, Clint's Drafthouse Pizza and Grill is home to some of the Quad City's best food and drink specials. On Sundays, there's no better place to be. Clint's is serving up 75-cent, I almost undercut that price, 75-cent wings and $4 Bloody Marys all day. And your favorite team playing in those out-of-market games, you'll never miss a second of the action on one of their 10 screens with the NFL Sunday Ticket. And after you've had your wing and bloody fix, finish your football watching experience off with one of their famous Quad City style pizzas. And folks, they know pizza. They've been spinning QC style pies for the last 22 years. So make Clint's part of your Sunday football routine. Clint's Drafthouse Pizza and Grill, 7th Street in Moline. All righty. Let us see who is on the inactive list today.
Doug, you forgot to mention the ghost of Gio Bernard. He's haunting teams. You have to keep him on your team because he has a mustache. He's very nice and luxurious.
You know what I miss? I miss those Icky Shuffle commercials, those Icky Woods commercials where he was dancing within the
Woo! Get some cold cuts today.
Yes. I miss those.
Cut that meat. Cut that meat.
Though Peyton Manning is on my commercial, alternating with the Republican or the representative ladies that are duking it out.
Mm-hmm.
It's great to live in a swing state. All right, here we go. For the Atlanta Falcons today, no Quadri Allison. He is down today. For the Bills, no John Brown, no Jake Fromm, no TJ Yeldon, and remember that the Bills' entire tight end core minus, I believe it is
Tyler Kroft.
Yeah, him. All have the Rona and will not be playing.
They don't have the Rona. They're just on the COVID list.
Like I said, they have the Rona. For the Panthers, no Will Greer, no Markin Michael. I don't even know who Markin Michelle Michael is. So that ought to tell you something about that. For the Bengals, no Sethan Carter, no Joe Mixon, no John Ross, and no Austin Siebert for your kicker there. So Linda, who did not send in her streamer this week, bad Linda, you'll have to find another source for your kicker. For the Browns, no Austin Hooper, no Taywan Taylor. For the Cowboys,
Austin Hooper has appendicitis.
never had that.
Me too,
Yeah,
neither.
me neither.
All right. For Dallas, no Garrett Gilbert at quarterback, whoever the heck that is, or Gilbert Godfrey. And no Malik Turner.
You're missing the big one there, Doug. You see it? Yeah, that's got to hurt, especially
Who?
with that offensive line already being beat up.
Oh,
Zach
Zach
Martin
Martin.
down.
Yeah, Zach Martin's down. For the Lions, no David Blau, no Quintez Cephas, who was a big deal a couple of weeks ago. No Miles Killebrew on the back end. No Bo Scarborough. Huh?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. For the Packers, no David Bakhtiari, no Tyler Irvin, no Aaron Jones, no Kevin King, and no Jordan Love because Aaron Rodgers hates him and refuses to talk to him.
So that is big news that Big Bob Tunyon is active.
The Bakhtiari thing looked bad. Like as they're like coming up to him and like making sure he's okay, it looked like they were also being like, "You had a really good career, David." It was concerning.
He's always. I swear, between him and the guy from Iowa who moved on,
Brian Bulaga.
Bulaga, yeah, those guys were always like going down every other series, going, "Oh, my ankle," and then they were back out there. Whatever. All right. For
He
the
didn't
Texans,
come back this time, Doug.
I know. For the Texans, no Jordan Akins, no Kiki Kuti. I just like saying Kiki Kuti.
Kiki QT is like the Houston Texans version of Alshon Jeffrey. He's the AFC Alshon Jeffrey, where he looked good for like 2 or 3 games, and then he vanished for the rest of his career.
Chris, guess what?
Is Alshon starting this week?
Oh, they played Thursday, and he was inactive.
No!
He is inactive as well. But
No! How could you predict this?
I don't know. It's shocking. I tell you, it's shocking.
Ugh.
All right. For the Saints, obviously the big name there is Michael Thomas. He is not active this week. Reports this morning were saying that he might not play next week against the Bears. So take that for what you will. Also, Emmanuel Sanders is also on the Rona list. So their top wide receiver today may be Traquan Smith. We will have some over-unders and some rapid fires about points in that game. Spoilers. For the New York Giants, even though they are completely insignificant, but for them, C.J. Board at wide receiver is out. Also, no Eric Tomlinson at tight end.
That's the Jets, right? Not the Giants.
No, that's the Giants.
No, the Giants already played.
Yeah, it's okay. So did the Eagles. That's okay. Don't worry, Doug. No one watched that game. other than that clip on social media of
that's right. Daniel
Jones
Jones.
running down the field and then tripping himself by a spooky ghost.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Ugh. I knew I'd screw that up one of these days. All right, for the Jets, no Jamison Crowder, so that's a big deal. And that's about the only guy who matters. There is an Alex Lewis, James Morgan at quarterback that is also not playing. But we can probably be sure that Alshon Jeffrey is also hurt on his couch watching games today.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably hurt watching our show.
Just from your jokes. All right, for the Steelers, no Josh Dobbs, no Zach Gentry, and no fullback Derek Watt. For the Titans, no offensive skill players. No offensive skill players. They look pretty healthy. And for Washington, no Robert Foster, no Dwayne Haskins, no Isaiah Wright. So that is the inactive list there.
You forgot one with Washington, Doug. Oh, no, you said Haskins. I'm sorry.
I did say Haskins.
Yep, I remember it now.
He is dead to them at this point anyway, so you can pretty much just assume.
He got fined for violating the COVID list or their COVID protocols.
He had a family friend. He made a reservation at the hotel for him.
And how did the Titans only get off with only having to pay $350,000?
That's an excellent question.
No loss of draft picks, just money that I cannot remember anybody's name today. Hell, Marcus Mariota could pay that for them. He's not even on the team anymore. I can see the guy saying it. Their coach. Who's their coach?
John Gruden.
Okay.
Randy Moss. I said Variable.
Yeah,
Vrabel,
no.
that's his name. Yes.
DJ's right.
Though Randy Moss also acceptable answer.
I don't know why I thought we were back on the Raiders again.
I don't either. It's been a long morning. All right, where are we?
Got everybody in the brain. It's hurting the brain.
It is.
Hey, what about just COVID wise? Would you guys hate a Tuesday night game as much as I would? Because that would ruin my entire week. And I hate that there's a Thursday night game and I'm just getting accustomed to the Thursday night game. So if they added a Tuesday night game, I might just rebel and just be like, I'm done with this whole thing.
How many Tuesday night games have we had this year? Just the one? Two?
Just the one. They talked about potentially having it last week. Then they had the hurry up early game with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I was okay with that game at 4:00.
I was fine with that too. Tuesday night, don't do it. I hate you.
No, I think I honestly think you could run a Monday night doubleheader every week. Just go 5-8. No Thursday games, Monday night doubleheader instead.
I'd be okay with that. That'd be a lot better than the Thursday night games that
go like a 5 p.m. Central, 4:35 p.m. Central, and then
4:00 start is stupid.
It was stupid. It was stupid. I was on Harper duty, pick up Harper from daycare. I get off at 3:30. Game starts at 4. It takes me at least 15-20 minutes to get to her daycare, and I'm like, all right, can't talk very long. Gotta go.
Yeah.
The only reason it works right now is there's no fans in the stands, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm on Zoom calls all day, so I have to have it up on my iPad, pretending not to look at my iPad while I'm supposed to be doing my job. Hi, boss. Dave doesn't watch this anyway. Matt, don't rat me out.
He also fix his computer.
All righty, so that'll take us to the end of this segment. So on the other side of this is your last call for questions. So Twitter, Facebook, drop them in the chat. If you can catch them on Chris's eyebrows, if you can land one as he moves them up and down like that, double bonus points for that. All right.
How about that?
All right. I don't even know where to go from that. Oh, brother. Okay.
Well, that's me. I'm up.
I'm just gonna go straight to the commercial. Definitely need to fade out on that. Okay. Where was I with my live reads? Okay, here we go. All right. We are no longer a PG show, but we're still saying frick it for fantasy's sake. Frick's Tap, that is. If the Davenport side is more your style for your football watching pleasure, head to Frick's Tap, 1402 West 3rd Street, where they have 20 beers on tap. Beer isn't your scene? That's okay. They have $3 you call it during all of the Sunday football games. Frick's has the NFL Sunday ticket on all 13 of their TV screens, so don't fret if your team is playing on the West Coast this week. So for Frick's sake, head to Frick's Tap today. It's Sunday, the best day of the week here for fantasy's sake. You know what goes well with a football Sunday? A pulled pork Sunday from the Big Cheese, the official food truck for fantasy's sake. They really have a pork Sunday? I didn't really need to read these commercials before I do them. If you're more into our Wednesday evening show, Short Yardage, you might want something lighter as a bedtime snack. So try out their grilled cheese, which is just $5, and add a slice of ham for another $1 if you're feeling frisky. They travel all through the Quad Cities with their menu perfect for lunchtime or dinner time, so give them a follow on Facebook to see where they might be next and try their hamburgers, where you can make it a single, a double, or a triple for $5, $7, or $9. The Big Cheese, bringing you Short Yardage every Wednesday night. I need to hear more about this pulled pork Sunday, Deej.
All right.
That's all you're going to tell me about it?
You want me to tell you right now?
Yeah.
I think they do it with like the waffle fries and then pulled pork and then some cheese and barbecue sauce on top of it. It sounds delightful.
That does sound good.
I am down for that. All right. I'll track them down at some point and we'll report back because I like me a food truck. And food truck season is almost over, and I will be sad. All right.
What do you do with a food truck when it's not food truck season? That's my real question. Do you have to put like a big tarp over it so there's not like people standing in your front yard trying to get food out of your food truck?
I assume they have it in a storage place somewhere.
No, that takes the fun out of it, Doug. You've got to hide it under a bridge or something. Come on.
You know what they do? Speaking of Back to the Future, they just park it behind the sign that welcomes you to town.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's better than what I was coming up with. I was coming up with a whole like Batman style tunnel that you have to put a bunch of money into, and that kind of defeats the purpose of the food truck.
Yes. All right, Deej, are you done messing around with the question sheet?
Yeah. Sorry for adding questions.
Okay, here we go. From the top, my boy Stevie Campbell wants to know, how do you feel about Adrian Peterson these days? The Lions situation has been a tough one to read.
I think that Swift's kind of taken over the guy who's going to reach the end zone right now.
Yeah, last week we were kind of down on Swift because Matt Patricia is such an idiot that he's going to play the older guys because they're older and they have more experience. Well, Swift had like 12 touches and he had like 150 yards or something ridiculous like that. Give him the ball. Well, how is this hard anymore? How does Patricia still have a job?
Just because. All right. But that doesn't answer the Adrian Peterson question.
I would start to fade Peterson at this point. I think he'll still get touches, but the volume is going to shift more of Swift's way now, especially since he showed what he can do.
I would try to trade him to the Swift owner. He has no standalone value for you.
Right.
Fair. All right. Kyle Garisher wants to know, actually, he wants us to grade this trade. And DJ told me that I'm basically the vote that counts here. So, traded Brandon Ayuk, Lev Bell, and a second-round pick for Tyreek Hill in non-PPR dynasty. I would say I would want the three-piece side with Ayuk, Bell, and the pick more than Reek.
I'm going to go with DJ on this one, just preemptively. I'm going to take the Tyreek Hill side of this because a second-round pick will get you somebody who's decent, but it won't get you a starter. Tyreek Hill's going to be a starter. Ayuk has potential, but you don't know what that potential is going to be or how high his ceiling is. And then what was the third part of that? It was Bell. So
Bell.
I wouldn't worry about losing Le'Veon Bell at this point because you still have no idea what his value is going to be. What's his value going to be next year, especially?
Knowing that I recused myself, and I thought maybe you would recuse your opinion since that happened in your league.
I know.
I also helped orchestrate the trade, so I like Hill. I mean, it was my idea to kind of do something like that anyway, so I like the Hill side.
Yeah, I do
You're both wrong. Okay, great. All right, Derek Carr, Kyle Allen, or Teddy Two? Deej.
What?
Only one or
None of them.
Derek
Yeah,
Carr,
but
Kyle Allen, Teddy Two Gloves, or Andy Dalton. Yeah, I agree.
He threw Dalton in there at the last second. Teddy.
I go with Teddy Bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
I go. Take it to the bridge.
Dirty baby.
All right,
See,
Jordan.
we're singing again, Doug.
Yeah. I need to be able to mute him. Jordan Kernan wants to know Damian Harris or Henry Ruggs in my flex.
Ruggs.
I went Ruggs too. Yeah, I think that New England running back situations are way too inconsistent to depend on. Harris looked good before the bye. Coming off the bye last week, he had like nothing going. So I don't know who to believe is the actual running back there.
Yeah, I guess Ruggs would be my snap judgment there as well. All right, Jordan Rangel, friend of the show, wants to know Juju, CD, or Traquan Smith this week.
Traquan Smith. There's a lot of the only other guy really stealing targets from him in that game is Jared Cook, and Kamara. But yeah, it's Traquan Smith.
Where do you
think?
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just good. No, go ahead.
I think that quarterbacks who are backups or are lesser talented kind of tend to go to guys who are in the slot more. And I think that's a reason to kind of feel like CD could have a big game this week. Dalton might be looking for an easier matchup than having to go to the outside to like Amari Cooper or Gallup. And having CD in the slot will probably be a very advantageous position.
Answer your question, Doug. I did not rank him initially when I did my rankings Wednesday because we thought Thomas would play. But I would if I redid my rankings, I would have him in the 20 to 25 range.
What about CD? He's the one I'm trying to ask about.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Traquan. I apologize. CD Lamb, wide receiver 31.
5 spots ahead of Juju?
5 spots ahead of Juju.
Interesting. Okay. I'm probably taking CD out of that group, but it hurts me not to say Juju. All right. Pick 2 of Gio, Jamal, or Darrell Henderson.
Gio Bernard for sure. I think that they're really going to get AJ Dillon involved in Green Bay, so I would probably go Henderson and Gio.
I don't know. I think Williams is probably going to be the main back. I think AJ Dillon gets some touches, but it's not going to be that much to decrease his value. I would go with Gio overall in that group because he's going to be the feature back, I think. And, I mean, he has the ability to be a good third down back, too. So he's going to be on the field the most. His usage is going to be the highest, and that's why I would go with him.
I hate when I have to agree with DJ, but I agree with DJ. All right. Is this a pick 2 situation for this next one, too, Deej?
I just said what he wrote down.
All right. So, Gio, Chase Claypool, or Debo?
Again, I think based on usage, Gio Bernard.
I don't know. I think Claypool probably has a higher ceiling, but Gio is probably going to see the end zone at least once. That would make my decision for me, but Claypool has the higher upside. He could still explode on any given Sunday.
All right. I would rank those Gio, Debo, Claypool, personally. All right. Cousin Bo wants to know J.D. McKissick or Russell Gage?
McKissick, I think that he is a PPR monster today.
Yeah, I'd go with McKissick too, just because he's been stealing more and more time from Gibson there in Washington, and they don't really have an answer at quarterback. So a lot of those dump off passes are going to be coming his way. It makes a lot of sense for him to have a big day, especially if it's PPR.
Fine, sweep it. All right. Ethan Gordon wants to know A.J. Dillon, AP, or Lat Murray start 2 in a PPR?
Dillon and Murray.
Yeah, I'd probably say the same.
Sweep it. All right. Kyle Carstens wants to know Debo or CeeDee Lamb?
Debo.
I like CeeDee Lamb a lot just because of what I said earlier. He's got that slot potential, and I think that's going to be something where Dalton just has to get the ball out on time, get those little slants underneath, and he's going to get yardage out of that.
To answer Doug's question that inevitably would be asked, I have Deebo Samuel, wide receiver 30, and CeeDee Lamb, wide receiver 31.
Neck and neck. Watch out.
I agree with DJ. Fine, Debo. All right. Cousin Bo also wants to know in a TD heavy league, Will Fuller, OBJ, or Deontay Johnson?
OBJ.
Wrong. Johnson. Chris?
I'll go with Fuller.
Hey, Bo has another one here, Doug. I just popped it on the screen. Didn't see that previously.
Okay. I don't see it either.
Okay, well, pick 2 TD heavy league, Antonio Gibson, Mike Davis, or David Johnson. It's right underneath of your head on the screen.
I hate to do it, but Mike Davis, I hate saying it. And I would go with David Johnson, too.
Agreed.
I just don't like Gibson because they keep fading him for McKissick, and I think they're going to be in a lot of like passing situations in this game. So I think Gibson's like script is going to be worse. So I would go with the other 2.
Agreed.
I want Gibson because I have him on my team and I'm starting this week. So he needs to go off.
Don't do it, Doug.
All right. Jake Scudder. Remember we used to say Scud bombs when he would hit homers? Those are good days.
Juan bombs were better.
Juan bombs, well, yeah. I came up with that too. But the Scud bombs were still fun. All right. Tannehill or Watson?
Watson.
I don't know how you go against Tannehill at this point. He's been on fire the last couple of weeks.
Hashtag Steelers defense.
Oh, well, that's not a good matchup, but still, I think that team can only win in shootouts, so they're going to have to put the ball in the air. And we saw the Eagles torch them, too, so I don't know how vaunted that defense actually is.
Oh, I agree. I've been arguing with people about it all week on Facebook.
Yeah, Watson's probably going to have – if they're going to keep up with Green Bay – today, Watson's going to have a big day, so I'm going to have to go Watson. And then Julio or Rojo?
Julio. I like Rojo a lot, but Julio.
I think the factors kind of matter a lot in this one. I would go with Julio primarily because of the floor and his ceiling being so high. I like Ronald Jones, but he just hasn't proven himself as a pass catcher, even though he's doing better. I think that you just got to go with Julio because he's more proven at this point.
Yeah, it looks like Fournette will be active today too.
So Fournette's been active the last couple weeks, though, hasn't he? And he hasn't seen the field.
Yeah, but I think he's like real life active.
He's
week.
like close. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I also take Julio, and then Andy Skelton wants to know Jamal Williams, Lat Murray, or Gio. Gio, all day.
Yeah, Gio.
Got to keep with the theme. He's Gio Bernard. He's haunting your roster.
We just had another question pop in the comment section. Tyler Kohler, need to start 2. Melvin, Gio, Juju, or Tim Patrick? Melvin Gordon and Gio Bernard.
Melvin Gordon's back?
If he's wanting to start him, he must be.
Okay.
I didn't read him yet. Oh, well, that's because that's a late game, isn't it?
Yeah,
I would go with Gio and Juju.
Yeah, I don't think you can go wrong there between those first 3. Tim Patrick, you're kind of depending he gets lost in the Chiefs secondary, which is possible, but you're kind of depending on him getting in the end zone.
All right. I agree with Chris. All right. We are going to buzz through these because we are at the bottom of the hour. So, National Tight End Day. Top scoring Week 7 tight end.
Kelsey.
Kittle.
I'm
making it hard for you, Doug.
I know. Because they don't
Mark
remember.
Andrews, he's my guy.
Yeah, I would take him, except he's on bye.
No.
Yeah, fine. Kittle it is. Let's see. Oop, rapid fires. Here we go. More fantasy points. Gio Bernard or Jerick McKinnon?
Bernard.
Bernard, yeah.
Gio is correct there. More passing yards between the Mats. Ryan or Stafford?
Stafford.
Are they going against each other?
They are.
Yeah, I'm going with Stafford then. Because that Atlanta defense is terrible.
Yeah. Agreed. More turnovers. Joe Burrow or Baker Mayfield?
Baker.
It's hard to go against Baker on any of those turnover questions.
Top scoring week 7 running back. Kamara all day.
Oh, Doug. Zeke.
Tip for good ones. Yeah, I would probably go with Kamara too.
All right. Over under 87.5 receiving yards for Devontae Adams versus the Texans. Over.
Over.
I'll just take over. Yeah.
All right. More combined catches. DJ Moore and Mike Davis or Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill?
I'll go Kamara and Hill.
Let's take the real wide receiver and running back combination. So let's do that.
I will take the fake one down in New Orleans.
No,
Chris,
All right.
we were talking about this before the show when I was putting these together. I feel like this is one of those, like, I think Alvin Kamara is going to catch like 15 or 16 passes today.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about that. It
So,
makes
like,
a lot of sense.
His 15 or 16 and Taysom Hill's bound to catch like 4 or 5.
Well, yeah, Taysom Hill has the ability to only appear in the red zone when Alvin Kamara disappears off the field for no apparent reason. So, yeah, that makes sense that he'll catch those right around the red zone and devalue Kamara even though he's better.
Yep. Most rushing yards in Jets Buffalo. Gore, Singletary, or Josh Allen?
Frank Gore. No, Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen's the most talented running back on the team.
Yeah. So I want to take Gore. I will take Josh Allen. Top scoring week 7 wide receiver.
Hopkins.
Can you guess him this week? He's on a bye, isn't he? Oh no, he's never mind.
Next week.
Okay, that's why I was thinking you couldn't guess him. Okay, we'll go with that Allen Robinson guy just because they never stop throwing the ball at him.
Give me, I'd say Galladay because they're going to need to keep up, and he's a one-man show. Also, the right answer is Randy Moss, of course.
Randy Moss.
Wheel of Cowboys wide receiver Cooper, CD, or Gallup. Can only pick one. Go.
Cooper.
CD.
Gallup. Hopkins or Metcalf? More catches.
Okay. Oh, more catches. Yeah, Hopkins.
Yeah, Nuke all day. More fantasy points, Kelsey or Fant? Really?
Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top scoring quarterback for this week.
Kyler.
Yeah, whatever they said, I have no idea.
I said Kyler.
Tannehill.
Top scoring running back in San Fran, New England.
Damian Harris.
None of the above.
James White.
The running back who used to be McKinnon.
Yes.
Yeah, McKinnon?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Top scoring wide receiver in Oakland, Tampa Bay.
Nelson Aguilar.
You.
Yeah.
Wide receiver in scoring wide receiver?
That's what it says. Top scoring wide receiver in Oakland, Tampa Bay.
That's a weird question, but okay. Let's go with Godwin.
Mike Evans. All right. Over under 86.5 rushing yards for Derrick Henry versus Pittsburgh. I will take the over by 1.5.
Under.
Over.
All right. Pick 'em. Jags or Chargers?
No.
Pick them to win?
I don't know. I don't write these questions.
Yes, Chris. Pick him.
Pick them to win? Chargers. Chargers will lead for 3 quarters and then they'll somehow lose in the fourth quarter like they do almost every week.
Top scoring pass catcher in Bears-Rams.
Jimmy Graham.
Wheel of Rams receivers. Robert Woods.
Jimmy Graham is the correct answer there. On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for The Mandalorian Season 2?
0.
You're fired. Chris, be a reasonable person.
I'll go with an 8.
47 is the correct answer. Who takes a 3-2 lead in the World Series tonight with Kershaw versus Glasnow?
Tampa.
I really want Tampa to win, but I think this is going to be the year the Dodgers can't dodger it up, even though they managed to last night.
All right, Tampa is the correct answer. So that will take us to the end of the show. We only went 6 minutes over. That's actually fairly decent. So for DJ, for Chris, for myself, for the dog, for the wife, and for everyone else, thank you for watching. And we will see y'all Wednesday night. Toodles.